I never said that.
Oh, you don't have to wait for me. You can sit down, you know that. You weren't looking at my papers, were you?
Of course not.
I'm sorry, it's just lately I keep misplacing my files. I thought maybe.
Maybe you need a secretary?
Thanks. But let's just. Is there something wrong?
Oh, I was just wondering who that was. What makes him so special you had to keep me waiting so long?
Oh, did we go over? I'm sorry.
I should say so. I'm not used to being kept waiting like that. I'm a busy man.
I know. I'm sorry.
Could have had a manicure in the time I sat out there. Hey, that's not a bad idea. Put a manicurist out there. Maybe a massage therapist too.
Interesting idea.
Extra income, never a bad thing, you know. Oh, by the way, your magazines are out of date. The Esquires from last year. Time for a fresh supply, don't you think?
Thanks. I'll take care of that.
And the plant? The big one out there in the corner? What is that thing anyway? Well, it needs watering.
It's artificial.
Oh, that explains it. It needs dusting then.
I'll see to it.
So who was he?
Oh,
The guy you kept me waiting for? The guy who used up some of my time?
he's just a patient, like you. We can make up the time at your next session.
Must have serious problems. Going through a life crisis, maybe? Look kind of goofy to me.
I'm sorry, I'm not allowed to discuss my other patients.
Oh, of course not.
Okay. So, how are you?
Me? Oh, right. Wait. Are you really asking me how I am? Like in a psychological sense, or is just this an icebreaker? Has the meter started running?
Been here before. Nothing's changed. I just want to know how you are. Take the question any way you want to take it.
Okay, I've got the hang of it. I'm fine. See, I can tell you're disappointed. You didn't go to graduate school all those years and spend half your adult life building up your practice so you can hear your patients tell you that they're fine. Well, of course I'm not fine, or I wouldn't be here. Hey, I understand what you're up against. Being a therapist is no picnic. Having to deal with an endless procession of neurotic people day after day. You know, I have this friend who's a psychiatrist who makes it a point of saying he's a psychiatrist, not just a therapist, because he likes working with people who actually need his help. Psychotics, not neurotics, he says. Neurotics are just people who don't have any friends to talk to. The thing is, sometimes I just don't think it's making any difference. Sometimes I think her and I are just doomed. Just absolutely not suited to be together.
Then why do you keep coming here?
Because I feel the responsibility of giving this relationship a shot to make sure I'm not throwing something away that could be, maybe, or something that once was something good, something valuable. Because I will not be accused of walking away from this relationship without being absolutely certain that it's hopeless.
Is that what you're thinking? It's hopeless?
Hey, why do therapists do that? Put their diplomas on display? As if we didn't trust them to have degrees and be properly licensed. As if we didn't know you could fake those things with the right connections. Oh, now that one's a bit far-fetched, don't you think? A National Endowment for the Humanities seminar on semiotics. Oh, come on. Having degrees is one thing, but bragging about attending a 2-month course is pathetic, especially when your practice has nothing to do with semiotics. Might as well frame your goddamn Girl Scout badges while you're at it.
Could we please?
She said, God, Jesus, we're at an impasse. I don't know. A block. A big fat block in the road. That's it. A big fat block, and there's just no way around it. There's just no hope. That's what I'm thinking.
Tell me about it. Describe the block.
Oh, come on. I've described it many times. You know the story.
Tell me again.
Round and round we go. Round and round the mulberry bush. Hey, is that how that goes? I don't know. Maybe that's the point. Keep her busy, keep her occupied, keep her payments coming. Don't actually resolve anything. God forbid her waiting room ever cleared out because people started leading satisfying lives. All right, I get the drill. I'll be a good boy. No, I'm sorry. Retract that. I'm not trying to turn you into my mother. Okay, the thing is, she and I, that is my wife and I, have different physical needs, and she just doesn't get it.
You've said that before. Why do you think such a thing? Do you think she lacks the intelligence to understand your needs?
I don't know. Maybe that's it. No, of course that's not it. She's a highly intelligent person. She has all these degrees, and I respect all that, but she's all IQ and no EQ.
You've used that term before. I still don't think I understand what you mean.
EQ, emotional quotient. Something I read about in a magazine, Newsweek maybe, or the New Yorker, I don't know. Hey, if you kept your magazines up to date, maybe you'd heard of it. Sorry, it's knowing how to get along with people, being good at figuring out what they need, that sort of thing. It's like some people are very good at analyzing data, or they can do the Sunday New York Times crossword puzzle in 15 minutes, and in pen no less. But they're stupid when it comes to figuring out people. That's what I mean. High IQ and low EQ.
And you think your wife doesn't know how to get along with people? Despite all she's accomplished in her career, you think she's not good at figuring people out?
No point of setting the woman. Obviously, she's good with people. I'm just saying that some people are good at dealing with people in a general sort of way, but not so good at dealing with the person that they share their bed with. I mean, I'm not a beast or anything. I just like sex. Is that a crime? I'm a very sensual person. I've got Mediterranean blood in me, you know?
You're referring to your maternal great grandmother, I believe?
That's right. She was from Calabria, the toe of Italy. Very sensual people, the Calabrese. Now, I'm not saying it has to be every day and twice on Sunday, but my wife doles it out like an old maiden aunt on a limited supply of bonbons.
That's rather harsh, don't you think?
Are you allowed to make judgments like that? I thought I was supposed to be able to speak my mind here.
I'm sorry. Go on.
That's okay. I know this is hard for you. Your other patients must be pieces of cake by comparison.
I've already told you I'm not allowed to comment on my other patients.
Oh, like the guy before me? He's your favorite, right? I bet you see him whenever he needs you. Anytime, day or night. No appointment necessary, just squeeze him in.
So you're feeling jealous. Is that what this is all about?
Oh, it's not about me, it's about my wife. The old maiden aunt. That, you said that was harsh. I said you could have made judgments, and you apologized. Now here we are.
Yes, here we are.
Okay, back to my wife.
Yes, back to my wife.
No, back to my wife. You don't have a wife.
Yes, your wife. You do have a wife.
What I mean is, she doesn't like to have sex very often. Once every couple weeks, maybe. Maybe. Now that's not normal. And then she acts like it took all of her energy to accommodate me. Like she's doing me this huge favor. Like New Year's Eve. Biggest night of the year, right? So we packed the kids off to grandma's. Perfect opportunity. Now between the holidays, my flu and her colds, we hadn't made love in weeks and I was real pent up. We went out to an expensive restaurant, had a great time.
I'm sure she appreciated it.
Fine. So what happens? We go home at 2:30, she falls right asleep. Now I get all that. With the drinking and the late night, okay, I understand that. But come morning, don't you think it's payback time?
Make it sound like a business transaction. dinner for sex. Did you ever think she might not appreciate being thought of in that way?
No, I didn't say any of this at the time. I was just looking forward to some good New Year's sex. Is that so wrong? So what happens? She can't even be bothered to brush her teeth in the morning, so we make love without any kissing. And I shouldn't even call it love. There wasn't any intercourse or anything. She wasn't in the mood. So she gives me a hand job. Thank you very much. Happy New Year's to you too.
I can certainly understand your disappointment. But just keep in mind, none of this is unusual. I see many couples, and it's perfectly normal to go through dry spells like this, especially when the couple has young children.
But that's my point. The kids weren't even there. And what do I get? Nothing. Nada.
You can't always plan these things.
Fine. Fine. But even when she is in the mood, she's very limited in what she'll do. I like to try new things, and she likes the same old routine.
People are different.
Well, that's my point, damn it. She doesn't try to understand my difference. She doesn't reach out. For instance, I like to start things standing up. Take things nice and slow. Explore a woman's body before jumping into bed. You know what I mean? But she insists on getting under the covers right away. Says she gets cold. But she's not cold. Well, she is. But anyway, one night I turned up the heat real high so no one could pretend they weren't comfortable, and I made her stand up with me. We began to kiss, and I could already feel her tugging at me, trying to drag me back down to the bed. So I started to dance with her. I waltzed her all around the room until I got her as far away from that bed as possible. So I started to kiss her gently, massage her shoulders, like it was our first time together. Like we were teenagers in love, and it was great. I got real excited. Hard as a rock. Who needs Viagra? This was a real thing. And then she says, "Oh, let's get back into bed, dear." But I'd hold on tight. I tried to persuade her to stay put. "Baby, I'll do anything you want. Anything at all. Just tell me." So what does she do? She starts screaming her head off, pleading, wanting to get back into bed. So I let her go. I didn't want to wake the kids, and that was it. The end of a great experiment.
So if I can summarize, you don't see much hope for your marriage because you claim your wife doesn't like to have sex as often as you do, and she refuses to have intercourse standing up.
Oh, come on. When you put it like that, it makes me sound ridiculous. Like I have screwed up priorities. Now, I'm not saying sex is the most important part of a marriage. I realize it isn't the most important part, but it's an indispensable part, don't you think? I mean, without it, you might as well be business partners.
But what you described doesn't sound like an insurmountable problem. You just have issues about timing and personal preferences. With a little work, I'm sure you and your wife can work it all out.
I'm glad you're so confident, Doctor. Hey. Hi.
Please?
Nice shoes. Designer shoes, right?
I suppose.
From Italy?
Probably.
Oof, must have cost someone a lot.
You really want to talk about my shoes?
No, not really. Well, actually, there is something else.
Take your time.
You see, my wife and I don't think we can ever work it out. You see, I have a bigger problem. All right. The thing is, I'm losing interest in her. I'm just not attracted to her the way I used to be.
Oh, I see. And why is that?
This isn't easy to talk about.
I understand, but that's what we're here for.
There's no way to say this without sounding like a cad.
Not a cad. There's nothing you can't say here. Give it a try.
All right, doctor. Here we go. The fact is, she's put on weight lately. And I'm sorry. I'm just not attracted to fat women.
Oh,
Now, I know it's an awful thing to say, but haven't you taught me that feelings are simply what they are and that we have to acknowledge them if we're to make any progress?
yes, I suppose I've said things like that.
Well, there you have it. I can't control what I feel. See, I see all these beautiful women around me all the time, like at the gym. They're slender, muscular. No, they're not in perfect shape, but they're in some sort of shape, while my wife, she's just completely let herself go. Now, how am I supposed to work on our relationship when I see my wife laying all flesh there, like some strange rubbery sculpture? How am I supposed to get those feelings started again?
I certainly admire your honesty. I suppose that's something. Have you ever thought about why she might be out of shape?
Well, I.
You realize what happens to a woman's body after she gives birth?
Well, sure. I.
And your wife's had 2 children, right? Not just one, 2. Do you have any idea how hard it is to shed the pounds a woman gains during pregnancy?
Yes, of course. But most women.
While you're at the gym every day, because you have such a cushy job, there's apparently never any problem finding time for a workout. Have you ever thought that your wife's job might prevent her from getting to the health club? That her second job, taking care of your children, for God forbid you should pitch in when it comes to help taking care of the kids, makes it even less likely that she should find time for a workout? No, of course not. While you're fantasizing about standing up, making love to one of your gym buddies, have you ever thought how maybe with a little bit of effort, you could help turn your loving wife into the kind of woman who could get your motor running again, so you wouldn't have to keep threatening to rip apart your marriage and leave behind damaged kids to deal with a broken home?
Well,
No, I don't imagine you ever taken the time to think about these things. You're a busy man. You've said so yourself. Too busy to give a fuck about. Too busy to care about your wife's feelings. Well, I'm sorry, but it looks like we're out of time for today. We're going to have to end now. I know this is difficult, but I think we're making progress.
I suppose so. Well, see you around, Doctor.
Oh, and honey, before I forget, could you order takeout from Ollie's? I'm not gonna have time to cook dinner tonight. And Nick, don't let the kids watch too much TV. I'll be upstairs after the next patient.
Okay, Diane.
And you really didn't look at any of my files, right?
No. Okay. Honey, come to bed. It's late.
No, it's late, but I've got to finish this book. What's all this?
Welcome to Nick Turner's Love Chamber. You've been chosen out of thousands of contestants to spend a night in the arms of that master of love, Nick Turner.
Nick, not tonight, please. I told you I really got to finish this book.
You can read your book any night, but a night with Nick Turner is a once in a lifetime opportunity, especially at the rate we've been going lately. Come on, let me massage you, relax you. You'll forget all about that big, nasty book.
I don't know. It's very sweet of you. Candles are nice. It's just not a good time, Nick. You know what? Why don't you read something too? I won't be long. You haven't seen my reading glasses, have you?
Hey, I'm sorry to interrupt your reading. I want to ask you something.
Nick?
You can get back to your book in a minute and read for as long as you like. I can even go sleep out in the living room.
Honey, don't say that. I'm not trying to throw you out of bed.
Are you sure? Because maybe that's what I think this is all about. If I didn't know any better, you were having an affair with somebody. Because you sure don't have anything left over for me.
Nick?
Where's the sugar? I know you've got sugar. You've given it to me before. I mean, we have 2 kids. That didn't happen by reading books. So either you're having an affair with someone and giving it to them, or I don't know, maybe you use it up on yourself, but there's definitely a shortage here. So I want to know, where's the sugar?
There's plenty of sugar in the kitchen.
Very funny. Okay, I can be direct like one of your patients. My wife doesn't like to have sex with me anymore. What am I going to do, doctor?
That's not true. We have sex all the time.
Like when? When was the last time?
I don't know, just recently. New Year's Day. Remember?
Yeah, I remember.
Nick, you're making a big fuss out of nothing.
My point exactly. Nothing. Nada. That's what I get.
Are we going to go all over this again?
I say that's a good idea, don't you think? I mean, you can't just ignore these things and hope they go away.
What things?
Look, honey, I know you've been very busy lately with the kids, your practice, shopping for shoes, filing your nails, flossing your teeth, reading that goddamn book you claim you have to finish, or else I don't know, maybe life won't be worth living. But what about me, for God's sake? We're in crisis, baby, whether you want to admit it or not.
You keep saying that. We keep having this discussion. We have a great marriage. There is no problem.
But we don't have sex.
We have sex. Don't make things up.
Hand jobs don't count. I want a physical relationship with my wife. Is that so wrong? I want to touch you, squeeze you, lick you all over, and I want you to do the same to me, the way we used to. And yes, preferably more than once a month. I want to lie on top of you, or under you, or next to you, and enter you.
How poetic.
You weren't always like this.
Like what? Don't.
See? You can't even stand my touch.
No. You just caught me off guard. That's all.
Okay, I'm going to try again. Now, I'm giving you plenty of warning this time. Are you ready? Sure? Okay, I'm going to touch you. Here I come.
Nick, don't.
Jesus, you've become allergic to me.
No. I'm just distracted. It's the book. I told you I really have to finish it.
Why? Are you having an affair with someone who gives you reading assignments? Tell me, what's so special about the goddamn book?
Don't be vulgar. Okay. There's nothing special about the book. It's not the book per se.
Per se?
It's not the book.
Good. That's something. Now, what is it?
I don't want to talk about it. I can't.
You can't. A therapist, you can't talk about sex? Now that's a problem. We're not just talking about our marriage being in jeopardy. Your very livelihood might be at stake.
Is everything a joke with you?
Well, if I can't have sex,
Well, the joking's not going to get us back on track.
I can be as humorless as your father if that'll help.
Don't drag my father into this.
No, I don't imagine he'd be much help. Oh, but your mother, on the other hand, she's got a sense of humor. She laughs at me all the time. You ever wonder about their sex life?
Can it?
Okay, look, we both admitted we have a problem. That's a great start. Now let's work on that.
I don't admit we have a problem. This whole thing is making me uncomfortable. And honestly, if you think we have a problem, why don't you go talk to a therapist about it?
Isn't that what I'm doing right now?
No, seriously. Hey, wait. That's actually a great idea. Why don't you come see me in my office downstairs?
See you in your office downstairs?
Yeah,
You're
sure.
right here.
No.
You're right here.
Sure, we'll hold a few sessions. You can pretend you're one of my patients.
Are you nuts?
Hear me out, okay? I'll treat you like a regular patient. You'll talk, I'll listen. You can say whatever you like. I promise I won't be judgmental.
And how much you plan on charging me for these services?
Honey, of course I wouldn't charge you anything.
Oh, now we're making progress. No sex, but I get freebies. And at the rates you charge, that could add up to quite a piece of change. Oh, I'm getting excited just thinking about the savings.
Great. Call me in the morning and I'll check my calendar.
I'm kidding. The idea is ludicrous. You're my wife, not my therapist. I want to be able to talk to my wife.
Okay, but don't you see? That's the beauty of this. She'll be listening too.
You're scaring me. I thought all I had on my hands was a wife turning cold, but now it looks more like schizophrenia.
More jokes. You say we have a problem, fine. You say you have needs I'm not meeting, okay. But why can't you think of my needs for once? I don't know why I can't give you what you want or even talk about it, but I do know how to talk to my patients. I'm a good therapist. No, I'm a great one, and I get results. Can't you just try to humor me for once instead of always accusing me of being a frigid bitch?
I never said bitch. Look, I know you're a great therapist, but if we have a problem, shouldn't we go see someone together? You know, as a couple?
Even couples should seek help individually first. Everybody has problems with arrested development.
Arrested development? I don't even know what that means.
I don't tell you how to run your business. Just trust me on this. For once, okay?
Okay, we'll try it your way. I'll be a good boy.
I'm not trying to be your mother.
Let me rephrase that. I love you, Diane. You're my wife. The only wife I'll ever have. You're the mother of our two precious children. You mean everything to me. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get back what we had. And if that means going into therapy, with my own wife even, so be it.
Thank you, darling. You don't know how much that means to me. Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to get back to my reading.
After all that, you can still read?
Honey, I'm a professional. I could read. Wait a second, where's my book? You didn't touch my book, did you?
I didn't even touch you.
Oh, found it.
You want me to go downstairs and get your appointment book for you right now?
It's okay.
I just have one more question.
What's that?
Do I have to take my shoes off when I lie down on your couch?
I'm not Freudian. My patients don't lie on a sofa.
But you do have a couch. I mean, a sofa, right?
Yes, I have a sofa, a couch, and a box of Kleenex. All the usual paraphernalia.
So, if things work out, can I have my way with you right there on the sofa?
Sorry, I don't get involved with any of my patients. But I'm sure your wife would be happy to celebrate with you back upstairs.
Okay, doctor. I take that as a promise. You look beautiful tonight, dear.
I don't feel beautiful. Just looked at myself in the mirror. I'm an old hag. God, I've never had bags before. I'm gonna demand my money back from Elizabeth Arden. And this weight. Ugh, I'm a blimp.
You're not a blimp.
A hippo then. Can't believe I actually ran the New York City Marathon just a few years ago. No, being a therapist is not conducive to staying in shape.
Well, to me, you're beautiful. And no one kisses like you.
Oh, and do you have many points of comparison? Recent ones, that is.
You know I don't.
I hope you don't, anyways.
I only have eyes for you, dear.
Mm.
No, wait. In the interest of full disclosure, I'll admit I do notice other women, but I only have lips for you.
And your other body parts?
They're all for you, baby. Hey, honey, come stand up with me for a minute, will you?
Not tonight, Nick. I'm exhausted. The kids drove me crazy this afternoon. Now, these bags are entirely their doing. I just want to go to bed.
I know you're tired. This won't take long.
Come to bed. It's warm and cozy here. You know I don't like the cold.
What cold? It's downright tropical out here.
You're right. Who turned up the heat?
I did.
That's not healthy. Turn it back down.
Not until you stand up with me.
God, just as stubborn as the kids.
Forget about the kids for a minute. What are you doing?
Looking for my slippers. Did you?
I swear I haven't worn your slippers or any of your other clothes. Forget the slippers.
I'll look for them later.
Hey. Hi.
Hi.
Now relax.
I'm not in the mood for a massage, Nick.
I'm not gonna touch you. Oh, hey. Let's dance. You know how you love to dance. Remember how we danced at our wedding?
I don't want to dance either.
Okay, we won't dance. Let's just look at each other. You're so beautiful, Diane. Okay. Look who's come back. Little Nikki wants to come out and play. Doesn't little Di want to play too?
Dear, this is all very nice, but let's just get back to bed. This is too weird for me.
Baby, I'll do anything you want. Anything at all. Just tell me.
I want to go to bed.
I want to make you happy. Don't you want to be happy? Is there something I'm not doing? Not giving you?
Not now, Nick.
Let yourself go. Just make love to me.
I don't want to.
Why not?
I can't.
I'm your husband. You're going to do this.
Don't come any closer. Don't hurt me.
Baby, you hurt me in more ways than you know.
I just want to get back into bed. I'm okay now. Come back to bed. We both need to sleep. Everything's gonna be okay. Nick, turn down the heat and come back to bed.
I'll turn down the heat, all right. I'll turn it down for good.
Nick. Nick.
And the best part was when Dean Porter walked by and saw you up in that tree.
You should have been there, Nick.
Well, sure, if I'd have been a good enough student to get into Yale and my parents had enough money to send me there, maybe I would have been there.
So the dean of Davenport comes by.
Davenport was our residential college at Yale.
Yes, I know.
And he sees her up in the tree and calls out, "Diane London, what in the world are you doing in that tree?" And you said, "Just writing a paper for my forestry course. This is what was it?
Atelia americana.
Yes, Atelia americana, a very interesting species."
Did you realize your wife was such a pothead in college?
I'm learning a lot of things about her tonight.
She may have been a pothead, but my point is, she never lost control, even when she was stoned. That's my Diane. I would have never been able to hold a conversation with a dean under those circumstances. Heck, I wouldn't have been able to climb that tree.
Where'd you go to school, Nick?
Midwood High School in Brooklyn.
No, I mean college.
Nick's finishing up his degree at Fordham. He goes at night after putting in a long day's hours. I'm so proud of him.
I have tremendous respect for people that go back to school at night. We have it easy.
No, you did it the right way. It's better when you're young and energetic. I'm too old for homework. Besides, I never get to smoke pot or climb trees. There's no social life in night school.
But I'm sure you had a social life at Brooklyn College. Nick went to college the normal way for 3 years. I mean, like, right after high school.
Believe me, in my neighborhood, it wasn't so normal. Normal was to go to prison.
He's kidding. It's not. Flatbush is a very nice middle-class neighborhood.
What are you majoring in at Fordham, Nick?
Semiotics.
What's that?
It's the study of signs. Semiology is another word for it. You see, Ed, whether we realize it or not, lots of things are governed by sign systems. Everything from traffic to dinner conversation to literature. But you have to learn the right system in order to interpret things correctly.
And Fordham grants degrees in that?
That's right. It's a Bachelor of Semiotics, or BS for short.
He's pulling your leg. Majoring in management. Just making fun of me because I attended a seminar on semiotics at Brown 2 summers ago.
Yes, I remember that.
Nick was great about the whole thing. He paid my way.
Well, dear, I'd be happy to pay your way if you'd like to leave me alone for a couple of months.
It must have been being apart like that so early in your marriage.
What could I do? She wanted to go. I can't deny this woman anything.
Dear, I repeat my offer. Well, I'll even drive you there.
It was hard, but it was only for 8 weeks, and we had our weekends together.
A couple of weekends at any rate. Diane couldn't always make it back to New York.
I just figured I wouldn't be able to attend something like this once we started having children.
I know what you mean. I could never get away now. Ed would have to be willing to take care of the kids all by himself.
Oh, I forgot about that part. Sorry, dear. I respectfully rescind my offer.
I could never do anything like that anyways, because Ed insisted I start manufacturing babies the minute we got married.
Now, lambkins, you know that's not true. And if we're going to air our dirty laundry, you can tell your best friend's husband that you were already with child at the altar.
A shotgun wedding, huh?
Nothing like that. The wedding was planned months in advance. You have to reserve those places in Newport months in advance, sometimes years. We just got our best wedding present a little early. That's all.
Didn't they teach sex education at Yale?
Yes, they did, but alas, that's the one course that Caroline failed. You see, her preferred form of contraception was the rhythm method. She just wasn't very good at it.
Like that old Woody Allen joke where his wife couldn't keep a beat.
In our case, it was math. She counted the days between periods wrong, so oops. There was a nice fertile egg in place when I made my deposit one night.
Ed, please, don't be so graphic.
Well, I'm being metaphoric, dear. If I wanted to be graphic, I would have said that when I thrust my big throbbing cock into your hungry pussy one night, that there was already an egg waiting to trap one of my genetically superior sperm from my thick, juicy cum.
Nick.
It's funny.
I didn't trap you. We were already engaged.
Yes, but you weren't taking any chances, were you?
Caroline, why don't you come help me put out dessert?
Nothing like that.
What was it?
Why does he always say things like that?
The husband.
Marriage is a bitch, isn't it?
Caroline and I enjoy keeping each other on our toes, that's all. Oh, well, all right. Now that you mention it, marriage is a bitch. I'm not at all sure God intended us to be married, though I'm not even at all sure that God exists, but don't mention that to any of the other deacons at the Christ Church in Greenwich.
How long have you been married?
Caroline and I have been married for 12 years. That's 70 in human years. And you?
2 years last month. Oh, that's right. You couldn't make the wedding.
You're still practically newlyweds. You can't possibly know the true depths of depravity that marriage can sink to.
I guess I don't. Well, here's something. Is it all women or just my wife who has no sense of the value of money?
I wouldn't know. We don't discuss money.
Like women's shoes. I caught my wife putting on a brand new pair of black shoes tonight. Designer shoes. Italian, you know. And she has, I don't know how many pairs of black shoes. And she gets all superior on me, says you can never have too many pairs of black shoes. So I ask her how much they cost. She tells me $600. $600. Now where I come from, that's a lot of shoe. Now she's angry and we're barely speaking to each other.
You must have made up somewhere along the line because you've been pretty kissy out here.
She's very good at keeping up appearances.
That's my Diane.
Actually, she's mine. Anyway, now she wants to renovate the apartment. Everything has to be the best money can buy.
I gather that's your line of work, renovating apartments?
Right? We've done 4 jobs right here in this building. I call them the jobs of the century. Get it? That's the name of the building. I've had more than 4 jobs this century.
Yes, I get the distinction. This building, the 100-year period. 2 different things.
Right.
Language is a meticulous system, don't you think? Most poor slobs just blunder their way through it and probably shouldn't even be allowed to speak, don't you think?
Does that mean I'd be reduced to a monologue, or were you suggesting we both have to stay here quietly?
Not bad.
I'm glad you approve.
I didn't say I approved. I'm just kidding. You like to kid, right? Sorry, you were talking about the century, this building?
No, nothing. Just about the jobs I've done here. You know, that's how we got this apartment.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, someone died halfway through a job. Well, we contacted the estate and put in a bid right away.
The way of the world. One man's triumph pulled from the ashes of another poor soul's tragedy.
What do you suppose the wives are talking about out in the kitchen?
Us, I hope. Isn't that all women ever talk about? What brutes their husbands are?
You were a little rough on your wife out there. We didn't need to hear about your private business.
Caroline's heard it all before, I'm sure, and more. I was just trying to pull you into our demented little circle.
I gather you were all good friends at Yale.
It was a little more complicated than that. You see, I dated Diane sophomore year.
What? She never mentioned it.
No, I don't blame her. The situation was a little embarrassing all around.
Oh?
I stopped dating her rather abruptly after just a few months, or as the gals would say, I dumped her. She didn't take it very well. She kept following me around, phoning me, wouldn't leave me alone. Today, we'd call it stalking. Then I started dating her roommate, Caroline.
Wow.
Well put. Now, go ahead and say it.
What?
I was a cad.
That's not a word I'd ever really use.
Too refined for Brooklyn.
How about jerk?
I suppose that works. How about brute? Scoundrel? Rascal? Scallywag? Rapscallion? Rogue? Wretch? Blight? Knave? Rotter?
Where are you getting these from?
I'm good at crossword puzzles.
How about asshole? Wow. So you and Diane were a couple.
We've established that.
I wonder why she's never mentioned it.
It was so long ago. You're not the jealous type, I hope.
Me? No, of course not. Well, actually I am.
Are you going to hit me? Should I prepare for fisticuffs?
It was so long ago.
You're not the type of man I pictured Diane ending up with. I was surprised to meet you tonight.
Oh, and I suppose you are? Well, you had your chance, pal, and you blew it. What type of man am I?
You seem like someone with a more than healthy sexual appetite.
What's that? Some sort of crack about Italians?
I didn't know you were Italian.
My mother's grandmother was from Calabria,
And that's Italy?
the toe of Italy.
I didn't know Italy had a toe.
Look at a map. Italy, the boot.
There seems to be a fixation on footwear in this household.
Don't they teach geography at Yale?
Your mother's grandmother, that would make you 1/8 Italian. Hardly enough to make a federal case out of it.
Diane's the one who got excited when she found out I had Italian blood in me.
So that was the attraction.
What did you mean by more than healthy sexual appetite?
I just mean you seem like a guy who likes sex.
Don't all guys?
Not in my circles.
Maybe you've been spending too much time in Connecticut. Down here in the real world, I think you'll find most guys like sex. I mean, I'm not a beast or anything.
I'm just saying I pictured Diane ending up with someone a bit more like her. You know, more, what's the word?
Wonderful?
Uptight.
Watch it.
I'm just saying I picture her with someone a bit more genteel.
Gay?
No, I don't mean that, though. Now that you mention it, that might not be such a bad thing for Diane. The kind of marriage Cole Porter and Linda Thomas had. No sex, but good companionship.
Pal, I know you're my wife's old friend, but you're really starting to piss me off. First, you tell me that I'm a sex maniac. Then you say my wife would be happier married to a eunuch. Just who the fuck do you think you are, fella?
Relax. It's okay. I guess I just didn't express myself clearly enough. We've both been with her. I mean, we both know what she's like. Look, I told you I broke up with your wife after a few months, so let me explain. I broke things off because she was, well, there's really no other word for it. She was frigid. Strangest thing I ever saw. A beautiful woman. She could have had any guy on campus, so naturally I went after her. But in the bedroom, nothing. I'm surprised that she even needed a bedroom. You know, I'm sure she could have slept standing up. So please understand my surprise at finding her with someone who, well, then again, maybe you're just what the doctor ordered.
I've got no complaints in the bedroom department. Thank you very much.
Then maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe you are.
So you're not sure.
What are you, a lawyer?
I thought you knew.
Figures. What exactly are you trying to get at, buddy?
I'll just say it then. Life's too short to pussyfoot around. I care about Diane. Caroline and I don't want to see her get hurt, so now that I've met you, I can't help being a bit suspicious. A guy like you happy in the bedroom with Diane? Some things just don't add up.
You think I'm having an affair?
Well, not necessarily just one. What was it that attracted you to Diane in the first place?
I don't know. Maybe it was the way she taps her pen when she's nervous.
So you don't know?
Oh, I do know. I just don't feel like I owe you an explanation, but okay. I'll spell it out for you. First of all, I think she's beautiful. Like in a special sort of way. I can't explain it really. She's beautiful in a superior sort of way. I never thought someone like that would be attracted to me. She's smart. And she puts it all out there. She doesn't hide it. She's steady. She doesn't let things throw her off course. And she always comes through.
You make her sound like an ideal job candidate. Why don't you just hire her instead of marrying her?
You didn't let me finish. I saved the best for last. She turns me on like no woman I've ever known. She makes me feel like the sexiest man in the world.
It always comes back to sex with you, doesn't it?
You don't enjoy it, do you?
What?
Sex?
In the throes of passion, I suppose I do. The buildup is always frustrating. It's as if some other being is taking over the controls and making me do whatever it wants, no matter how inconvenient. I sometimes wonder why nature made us this way. It seems odd to me that a man, especially after doing all he's done for perpetuating the species, should have this need to go out and get all wound up and shoot this odd milky liquid into the world. At the moment, it feels good, sure, but why the need? It all seems silly. Wouldn't we be better off without it?
When I see a beautiful woman, and for me that's Diane now, or even when I just think about her, I get excited. I can feel my pulse racing, like my body's telling me to take action. When I've got her in my arms, I like to slow down, look her over, you know what I mean? Hold off on the big moment. When I look in her eyes, it's like I see myself. Like we're both trying to connect, both trying to jump out of our skin. And then something clicks and I'm no longer in control. It's just too late to do anything other than lay back and let it all happen. And then, even after all of that, it's not over. I love the way this feeling rolls over my body and the glow in her eyes. It's like the same thing's happening to her. And we just collapse and let the world roll right over us while we lie there feeling great. You know, I may not be the smartest man in the world, but in that moment, I sure feel like I am. Because I know exactly why we exist.
Well, thank God Caroline doesn't have those expectations.
I think I know what's bothering you.
You're not worried I might hurt Diane by having affairs or sneaking off to sex clubs or orgies or whatever the hell you think I do. You're worried that behind closed doors, Diane might possibly just enjoy it now too.
Is everybody ready for a little dessert?
And you won't believe the amazing spread of desserts Diane put together. It's a fanatic for desserts. I think he likes them more than sex.
I wouldn't be at all surprised.
So, should I apologize for my friends?
Caroline was lovely, as always.
But Ed, God, he was in rare form tonight. Maybe now you understand why I put off introducing you.
No, I think maybe you had another reason.
Such as?
Such as, you never told me you two were an item in college.
It's just a brief incident from my distant past.
But you shared lots of other incidents from your distant past. Somehow you managed to keep this one to yourself.
Is that what you guys were talking about? Were you fighting? Thought I heard cursing.
I was just trying my hand at some therapy.
Don't need therapy.
Not me, Ed. I was practicing on him.
On our company? You're not properly trained.
I learned from a master. I was just trying to free him from his demons.
What demons?
The ones that cloud up his head.
It's a very clear thinker.
He thinks that sex is some joke being played on him by some cruel but non-existent god. Poor Caroline.
What are you talking about? They have 3 kids.
Having kids has nothing to do with enjoying sex.
Are we back to this? You aren't still trying to talk me out of having kids, are you?
It's not something to rush into.
I told you it won't make a difference. Our love is beautiful. It's so beautiful, I want to have your children and share it with them.
Is your parents' love beautiful?
What's that got? They have their moments.
They certainly do.
Who says they have to be our role models? What about your parents? They're loving people.
What about Ed and Caroline?
What about them?
Are they your role models?
Don't worry about them. They have a good marriage. Ed's always been like that. It has nothing to do with having kids.
So tell me the truth. Why'd you break up with him?
Did he say I broke up with him? You met him. Can you see me with someone like that?
Sometimes. Yes, I can.
Don't get me wrong. I think Ed's a great guy, but that's just because I don't have to live with him. He's headstrong and arrogant. He'd never let me win an argument.
Well, I'm just a wimp you can roll right over.
You know that's not what I'm saying.
I don't know anything. I didn't go to Yale.
Nick.
He seems to think you weren't woman enough for him.
Is that what he said?
Apparently, you were a little cold in the bedroom. You didn't put out enough.
God, you men, so full of yourselves.
I'm just a messenger.
Jeez. Did he also mention he was part of a young Christian group when we went to Yale? And that all the members took a vow of premarital celibacy. When he met me, he told me he was drawn to me because of my purity. Those were his words. My purity. I thought it was just a line. You see how he talks. And I realized he really meant it. Unfortunately, they didn't also take a vow of sobriety, or if they did, he ignored it. Anytime he got drunk, any interest in celibacy went right out the window. And anything that stood in his way was under direct attack. Of course, I wasn't going to sleep with him under those circumstances.
But you do enjoy it, don't you? What we have? What we do? You knew what I wanted when you married me. You seemed to want it too.
Of course I do. You're nothing like Ed. I told you our love is beautiful. Talk about purity. I saw pure desire in your eyes when we met. No games. I love that about you. And underneath it all, I saw the warmest heart I've ever known. I fell for that. All of that. I chose that. I chose you.
Thank God I'm not Ed.
You're my Nick. That's who you are. My Italian stud.
Oh, you're 1/8 Italian stud.
More than enough for me.
And you're my princess.
Yes, I am.
I love you, baby. I'll make you so happy.
You do make me happy.
I'll always do whatever you want.
You mean that? Whatever I want?
Just name it.
How about a child? Will you make one with me? Preferably two.
I've agreed to all that, at least in principle.
I don't want a child in principle. I want a real flesh and blood little precious bundle. Little Nick or little Diane. I want us to get started now.
You keep this up, I'll agree to a dozen.
Take me right here, Nick. Right now.
Oh, it's so late. Can't we wait till tomorrow?
No, it has to be tonight. It's my time. My cycle's in place.
Are you sure about that? Ed and Caroline seem to have problems getting that right.
I've always been better at math than Caroline.
Okay, Mrs. Turner. Let's make a baby.
Caroline, I'm so sorry. My session ran over. I couldn't get a cab.
But you're here.
Need a drink. Waiter! Oh, did you start without me?
Just one. I mean, before this one, I figured.
I'm sorry.
No, wait. It's my third. I'm pretty sure about that.
I'm sorry.
Olives are delicious.
Try to catch up with you. Where are all the waiters?
They're busy. Relax. They'll come eventually.
Is everybody on strike?
Whoa, slow down, lady. Where's the fire?
In your eyes, officer?
No, wait. Isn't it in your pants, officer?
We smoked way too much pot in college. Listened to way too many comedy albums.
Had every right to be stressed out.
Do I seem stressed out?
Let's just say you move at a different tempo than the housewives back in Connecticut. We'll get you that drink. Waiter.
No, sweet doesn't work in New York. Waiter!
So, how's married life treating you?
What?
Married life. You and Nick. It's been 6 months. How's it going?
Oh, fine. You remember what it's like.
Ugh, I was all puffed up like a balloon at this point.
But you have a good marriage, right?
Of course. I mean, if we just had more time before. No, we're still together after 10 years, and that's something these days.
Yes, that is.
And yours is good too, right?
Did I tell you Nick has 3 renovation jobs in the Century on Central Park West? Do you know it?
No, I don't.
Well, if things keep up like this, we can finally move out of Nick's apartment. Thank God.
Then maybe you can move up to Connecticut. We could barbecue every weekend.
Oh, please, I grew up in the suburbs. No offense, I'm sure Connecticut's great for some people.
Ed loves it. He barely tolerates coming to the city for work. Can you actually see him living here? Riding the elevators with his neighbors?
You're right. Someone like Ed needs a good acre between himself and the next human being.
We only have 3/4 of an acre.
No wonder he's so irritable.
You're awful. You're right, but awful. Whereas I can imagine Nick can't get enough of other people.
He's a charmer, all right.
I drink to that.
I just wish. Oh.
What?
Hey! Oh, shoot. I thought that was a waiter.
No, I think that's just a customer. Yeah, see, they're going to the men's room. What were you?
Nothing. Sometimes, I worry about Nick's expectations.
You're a wonderful woman. What does he expect?
I mean, his sexual expectations.
Yes, sex. I remember it well.
I just worry I'm gonna disappoint him.
Does he ever say anything?
He doesn't have to. A man with his appetite, his...
Maybe he can give Ed some pointers.
I just can't do what he sometimes wants me to do.
Tell me, what does he want you to do?
Sometimes I don't even like sex. I like my privacy, or I just want to be held. Why can't that be enough? Why do men always need more?
I thought you got over all that in college. You dated other men after Ed. Wait, you're not telling me.
Oh, no, Nick's not my first, if that's what you're asking.
Thank God. For a second there, I thought I didn't know you.
Harry Pillsbury was the first, you know that.
Sophomore year. Bladder ball weekend. How could I forget? You and Harry played ball, and Ed had a problem controlling his bladder.
So maybe in a way Nick was my first.
What? The first to go down on you? The first to do it standing up?
First to matter?
Oh. There's our waiter. Darn. Didn't see me.
I'll just go get him.
No, wait. Stay. Tell me. Why him?
Because you said he was our waiter.
No, I mean Nick. Why was he the first to matter?
No. It's just different from other men.
Drink to that too.
No, I figured, what the heck? This relationship can't possibly go anywhere. Wasn't even a college graduate, for God's sake. I'd never even heard of Flatbush. He acted like I was this incredibly sensual woman, a hot babe. So I let myself go with him.
Diane London, you were always a hot babe. You just didn't know it.
At first it was exciting.
Yes. Yes.
We collaborated on this big fantasy.
Oh, I love fantasies.
Until sometimes I completely forgot who I was.
So what's the problem?
It's not working. I married him under false pretenses. I miss the old me, the real me. The one who was respectable.
Oh, honey, I can't help you there. The real you? Hey, have you ever thought about going to see a therapist? That's funny. A therapist going to see a therapist. But I suppose it happens. I'm sure dentists go to see other dentists. How do you drill your own teeth? I'm sure accountants can do their own accounting. Proctologists. Now they've got to go to other proctologists, don't you think?
Therapy was a requirement in graduate school.
And did this person help you?
I didn't talk about any of this with him.
Then what did you talk about?
School, the last movie I saw, whatever. My patients pull that on me all the time.
But wasn't this an important part of your training?
I never wanted anything to do with psychology.
That's not true. You loved Intro to Psych. I sat next to you.
But I majored in English.
What do you do with an English degree?
That's why I kept changing jobs.
So, how ironic. You ended up as a therapist after all.
It just seemed like something that mattered. Yeah. But I made a deal with myself. I wasn't gonna go prying into my inner workings. Dig up God knows what. Now, who cares if my father or my mother? That's fine for some people. I just couldn't do it. What's one little weakness? What's the big deal?
I don't know anything about what it takes to become a good therapist, but it must be okay, right? I mean, you're Diane and your practice is doing fine, isn't it?
Do you think I'm a fraud? Oh my God, that's what it is, isn't it? I'm a fraud of a therapist. I really need that drink. Where the hell's the waiter? Is this some sort of joke?
You want this? Maybe you should slip into the ladies' room and toke up. Or we could do it to the park.
I don't smoke pot anymore. I'm a professional.
Comes in handy in Connecticut. I'm sure everything will turn out fine. Anyways, your marriage is most important.
I just told you it's not working. Weren't you listening to me?
Of course I was. I just meant... I'm sorry. I get easily distracted.
Yes, you are. It used to drive me crazy when we were roommates.
You never said anything.
You have to stop. It makes people think you don't care about what they're saying.
Comes in handy with it.
The joking's gotta stop too. It makes people think you don't take them seriously.
That's my Diane. See, you think people are capable of change. Take your own advice. Physician, heal thyself.
Who says I need to change? Nick's the one fixated on sex.
He's just a normal guy. The rest of us have the problem. Look at Ed. Do you have any idea what it's like living with someone so judgmental? And he gets all crass and vulgar in bed. I mean, he actually announces when we're going to do it. Caroline, dear, tonight we're going to get physical. Like, I have to study for it or something. Like, I couldn't handle a little spontaneity. You are so lucky, and you don't even realize it. Diane, what you've got with Nick, I'd take in a second. I don't care if it's an act or what, it's working. Sometimes when I look at Nick, I think, God, just take me right now. Forget Ed, forget Diane. I know it's wrong, but just do it. Just take me on the floor right now, for Christ's sake.
That's my husband you're talking about.
No, I know. Yes, I know. I don't really mean that. I know. Believe me, I know.
And if that's how you feel, what about other women?
Comes home to you, right?
But how do I know where he's been?
Does he give you any reason to be jealous?
I don't know. I should have been a nun.
A Presbyterian nun.
I don't need sex. Until I do.
How about you just talk to Nick? Have you tried that?
I can't. He's a really wonderful guy. He deserves someone more appreciative. Someone more like him. Oh my God, I really need that drink. Where are all the waiters? Are we in a goddamn Beckett play? This is not a good time for me to be married.
You're just saying that because you're angry at the waiters.
I need to get away for the summer. Maybe then I'll know what to do.
Meaning what?
Meaning, maybe I should bail out and leave him?
Oh no, don't say that.
I saw a posting for a seminar on semiotics at Brown.
Semiotics, what's that?
The study of signs.
Oh, honey, you don't need to go off to Brown University for that. There's plenty of signs around here you should be studying.
No, I need to get away. I need time. Since I'm obviously not going to get a drink in this hellhole, grab your purse. We're going to the park.
Excuse me. Is this seat available?
Sure.
I don't want to intrude.
It's okay. Please, go ahead.
I wouldn't have even bought the goddamn coffee if I realized there weren't any seats available.
It's okay, really.
Well, thanks. It's nice of you.
It's really no big deal.
You're right. It's no big deal. You must have amazing powers of concentration.
I grew up in a large family, so I'm used to doing my homework with the TV blaring in the background.
So you have homework. What are you, in high school?
The first time I've been mistaken for a teenager.
I'm just kidding. You're probably old enough to be in college.
Let's cut to the chase. I'm in graduate school doing my social work at Columbia. I'm studying to be a marriage counselor and therapist, and I worked several years between college and grad school. So that puts me past 30. Ta-da. big secrets out.
Well, you don't look it. And what I think you're doing is great.
Really? Usually when you tell a guy you're going to be a therapist, it gives you this funny look like you're trying to analyze him right on the spot.
I think it's sexy.
That's a new one.
Sure. You like figuring people out and helping them lead better lives. It means you're open to new ideas, trying new things. That's my idea of sexy.
You must be in advertising?
Try again.
Public relations? Maybe a lawyer?
I never even finished college. I threw in the towel after 3 years. I wanted to get on with things. I'm a contractor. I own my own company.
Very impressive. What do you contract?
We do apartments, renovations mostly. Most of our jobs are right here in Manhattan. You'd be amazed how busy we are. I just got a job at the Century on Central Park West. You know it? I'm hoping for more upscale jobs like that. You know, better margins.
You sound ambitious.
I just figure if you're going to play the game, you might as well play it right. And having money is not a bad thing.
I mean, never get the chance to find out.
Don't therapists make good money?
Not anymore. Insurance companies have taken all the fun out of curing people's neuroses.
Have you thought about switching to business school?
No. I love what I do. You got it right. I like analyzing people and getting to the root of their problems, finding a solution. It's gratifying work. Like being a crossword puzzle. I love those too.
Are you one of those people that can do the Sunday New York Times crossword puzzle in 15 minutes?
And in pen, no less.
Do you think you can figure me out?
That's the other reason I don't like telling people I'm a therapist. Everybody wants free samples.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean anything. I was just making conversation.
No, it's all right. I was just making conversation too.
God, it's difficult meeting people, isn't it?
Is that what we're doing?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Nick, by the way. Nick Turner.
Nice to meet you, Nick Turner. Is that your real name? You don't look like a Turner.
Well, I can understand that. I'm part Italian.
Oh, I love Italy. Have you been?
No, but my mother's grandmother was from Calabria.
Oh, the toe of Italy.
You've been?
Well, I've been to Italy. I haven't been that far south. I was always told it was too dangerous for a single woman.
And you are?
Sorry, Diane. Diane, London.
Oh, now there's a place I've been.
Diane, South Dakota?
London. London, England.
Well, there you go. I haven't been there.
Just goes to show.
Goes to show what?
I don't know.
So, now we've met.
And broken the ice, I'd say.
Well, I'm not that easy.
You know, in my business, we like to give people free proposals, rough sketches of the work we'd like to do for them. Most of the time, it doesn't lead anywhere, but it's a necessary part of the business.
Are you still on that? You want me to give you what? A free personality analysis? Like something you'd see in the ad on the side of the subway?
Yeah, that sounds good. I just want to see if I'd be wasting my time with you.
Is your time that precious?
Baby, life is short. It's up to us to get on with it and make it sweet.
Well, I guess I'd start with any man that calls a woman he barely knows baby is either totally oblivious to what's appropriate or recklessly optimistic about his chances with her.
I'll go with option number 2.
Pretty sure of yourself, aren't you?
Are you telling me you have a reason that I shouldn't be?
No, I don't even know you.
Don't be modest. You had me figured out the moment I approached this table, didn't you?
All right, well, let's get started. How many women have you been with?
I beg your pardon?
How many women have you slept with?
Oh, that's pretty direct.
You said it. Life's short.
And what answer would give me the best shot at seeing you again?
The truth. Always opt for the truth.
I've been with a few women in my time.
Can you quantify that?
What about you? How many men have you been with?
Sorry, only the therapist gets to ask the questions.
All right, let's see. One a day, minus 6 days, that's about 350 a year. And I've been at this for a very long time now, so that makes it around 5,000? Yeah, okay.
Very impressive. Have you filled today's quota, or was I your next prospect?
I'm kidding. I'm not an Olympic sex athlete.
But you have been with women before. This charming, seductive quality I can't help but notice isn't just an act. When was your last conquest?
I just broke up with someone a month ago, and since you're going to ask anyway, her name was Winnie. We were together for 8 months, and the sex was great.
Then why'd you break it off?
Because sex isn't the most important part of a relationship. She couldn't hold a conversation very well, and frankly, I was bored with her.
Poor woman.
So, now that you know everything about me,
Oh, I'm sure we've barely scratched the surface.
okay, role reversal time. Have you been with many men?
Sorry, I don't think you have the proper training to play therapist.
But I do have the proper curiosity. Just tell me, what have you got to lose?
I'm sorry. I really have to get back to my work.
So typical. Women can dish it out, but they can't take it.
Where'd you learn that? Junior high?
Can you take it?
What? You want to beat me up?
Okay, forget how many. Have you ever been with a man?
What do you think?
I don't even know you.
Okay, I think this conversation's over.
No, I don't think so.
I have work to do.
I've got work to do too, but you've made me curious.
Do you mind?
All right, you gave me a choice earlier. Here's one for you. We can either continue this conversation now, and believe me, I can be very persistent, or you can agree to have dinner with me tomorrow night, and I promise I won't even bring the topic up.
I wouldn't mind a free meal.
What, you don't believe in going Dutch treat?
Oh, cheap too?
I'm kidding. Of course I'm gonna pay.
Okay, then you're on.
Great. Here's my card in case you need to reach me. Otherwise, let's meet here tomorrow night at 8.
May I ask you one last thing?
Fire away, doctor.
Why'd you sit here in the first place?
When I saw you, I knew I had to meet you.
So this wasn't the only seat available.
Are you kidding? There are plenty of seats over there in the corner.
Well, in that case, I'll make a confession too. There's no such place as Diane, South Dakota. Well, as far as I know.
Ooh, shame on us. 2 liars. Now that's not a very good basis for starting a relationship.
Who said anything about a relationship?
We'll discuss that possibility tomorrow night. If you're woman enough to show up, that is.
Oh, I'm woman enough. Let's see if you're man enough.
That's a deal, baby.
See you then, stud.
Hey. Hi.
Hello?
Hi.
I think we already met.
Forget it.
Nick. Have you seen my slippers?
No, I have not seen your slippers.
They were here before.
You think I'm running a stolen goods business on the side?
I don't know what you do on the side. Or anywhere else. I don't know you anymore.
Look, shouldn't I sleep somewhere else? The living room, maybe?
No, the kids don't know anything about this yet. would just confuse them. We're civilized adults. I'm sure we can sleep in the same bed without, you know.
You're right. It's not as if we haven't had plenty of practice. You could roll a bowling ball down the space between us sometimes.
Let's just get through this like professionals.
You're the professional. I'm just a hired hack.
Did I mention that Ed and Caroline are also separated?
No, you didn't. Do you girls do everything together?
Caroline's taking it remarkably well. I think she already knows how much better off she's going to be, but Ed is in for a harder time, I'm sure.
What about the kids?
Charles goes off to college in the fall. The thought of having only each other as company scared them, I think.
Can you imagine being stuck with no one but Ed?
Well, never just one person. It's the relationship that doesn't work, not just Ed. As my mother used to say, there's a lid for every pot.
Oh, and were you hoping to be Ed's lid? Or his pot? Is that what this is all about? A chance to be back with your own kind?
What?
This whole thing was a setup, wasn't it?
What whole thing?
This whole role-playing therapy thing. Come on down to my office. Be my patient. I'm a wonderful therapist. You knew Ed and Caroline were on the rocks when you suggested therapy, didn't you? You thought you'd try to trap me. Find something you could use to make sure everyone saw you as the injured party.
You're the one who had an affair. If it weren't for therapy, I wouldn't have learned about your betrayal.
2 times with a woman. That's all. In 10 years of marriage, not such a bad record.
That's all you've admitted to.
2 times with one woman, and it wasn't an affair.
When you stick your dick in another woman's pussy, that's an affair.
See? You're even starting to sound like Ed.
I have never been pushed to my limit like this before. God, the things you put me through in your sessions.
My sessions? I think they were your sessions. I knew you'd be better off not knowing.
That's such bullshit. My patients pull that on me. It's just a way for them to protect themselves from their own guilt.
I was thinking about the relationship, about us.
A relationship deserves the truth. That's the point of therapy, to get the truth.
Is that the point? I think you wanted me in therapy so you could control things, manipulate things, so you could destroy what we had.
I am not the one who destroyed this.
You were the one with the problem. Now we both have a problem. A big fat one. Thank you very much.
Nick, you went off with another woman. I wasn't enough for you. That was the problem. You're all we've been through. How could you do that?
Cause or effect, lady? Cause or effect? You were the one with the problem. You changed. You knew what I was like when you met me. I put it right out there. I wanted you, then I had you, and you loved it. And then something snapped.
Something snapped.
We've been through this before. I thought we could get through it again, but not this time. Do you have any idea what it's like to be with someone who's disgusted by you? Someone who used to desire you? I'm sorry I slept with another woman. I'm only human. I can only take so much rejection before I finally get the message.
What message? There is no message. I'm not what you wanted. I'm not a gym bunny. I'm fat. That's what you get with me.
You're not fat. And it's not about your weight. It's about reaching out. You can be anything you want to be. Just let me be a part of it. Don't pull away. Do you really want to put the kids through this? Can we at least go through the motions of being a couple for their sake?
That's never a good idea.
I give up. At least you can't say I didn't try. At least you can't say I didn't wait until we were certain that this was absolutely hopeless. And for the record, I'm not the one walking out on this relationship.
Maybe you are.
I'm here. I'm prepared to stay. You know what? On second thought, I better go sleep out in the living room after all. I forgot my pillow.
Nick, don't leave.
Me? Are you asking me not to leave the room or your life?
I don't know. Just stay here a moment, will you?
Whatever you say, doctor.
I'm not actually angry about that woman you slept with. No, I mean, I am angry. Want to strangle you both. Want to cut your balls off and feed them to the guppies, but it's not why I'm actually angry.
Oh, that's good. But remind me to keep all sharp objects away from you, and maybe I'll feed the guppies from now on.
I can't stand to lose an argument any more than I can stand not to solve the Sunday Times crossword puzzle. I do need control. I always have. I don't know why. I'm a successful therapist on Central Park West, and I have no idea who I am. Is that pathetic? That's why I'm angry. I'm a failure as a therapist and a wife.
You're not a failure.
You don't get to make judgments about the things I say right now. I'm the patient.
I'm not a therapist.
I know. Maybe that's the problem. I need to see someone else.
You want a divorce so you can start dating?
No, I should see someone else. Another therapist.
There are many excellent ones right here on Central Park West, I believe. Maybe you don't even have to leave the building?
No, I should leave the building. At least for an hour or so. A couple times a week. Or who knows, maybe this will require a daily intervention.
You know, a great therapist once told me that it's never about one person. It's about a relationship. Maybe I should go with you.
Maybe I should have listened to you when I had my big idea about working on your arrested development.
I never did figure out what that meant. Is it still under arrest or is it out on parole now?
Maybe I should be arrested.
No one's being arrested here. We're not blaming anybody. We're just going to do whatever it takes to make this work. What do you say? Shall we go see someone together?
Oh, there they are. Okay, let's do it your way this time. Let's go see someone together.
Baby, I don't know what to say.
I love when you call me baby. Love your reckless optimism.
Hey. Hi.
Hi. Hey, come over here.
Whatever you say, princess.
Not too close.
What are you doing?
We're gonna make this work. You said you like to start things standing up.